Hello lovely people, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be revisiting the situation that's going on and seemingly has gotten worse involving Rachel, Amberlynn Reid, and Amberlynn's kind of ex, Emily. Before we do get into that, I want to give like a quick little recap of the last video I made. Essentially, people in Rachel's community were upset because she had a bit of a secret agreement with Emily. Rachel decided that behind the scenes, her and Emily were going to split AdSense money made from the videos that Rachel posted, and she offered money to Emily for screenshots. Now, the reason that this has been really controversial is because some people did not want their money to go directly to Emily. Rachel ended up not giving the money to Emily. She changed her mind later on, but the biggest issue is just her audience felt like they were deceived. They weren't told the full story, and there was a lie by omission. Essentially, things have gotten even worse though, because there have been some rumors floating around about Rachel and Emily flirting and a lot of kind of snarky mean girl behavior going on in a Discord group, and now Rachel is kind of being snarky to other reaction channels. We have some screenshots to go over that have been leaked from the Discord group. If you would like to support the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I just really enjoy all of you joining me along on this journey. Also, I do have a merch store available. I would just really appreciate it if you guys would like to check it out. Without further ado, let's get into these screenshots. It looks like Rachel and Hecticana have been talking back and forth. Hecticana has been in a little bit of hot water with his audience as well. So it's weird how all of these people are in a Discord group together. It seems like a lot of reaction channels are in this Discord group, and I don't know the exact context of why they decided to join. Maybe they were just trying to collaborate or, you know, get content ideas from each other. To me, it seems a little bit weird, but not inherently harmful. You know, I think you can have relationships with other creators in a way that's healthy, but you have to keep in mind that anything that you say in a private conversation online, you have to expect that at some point it might potentially get leaked, and that's exactly what happened here. So let's read it out. Hecticana says, "So are you going to give the money to Beck? The comments were pretty overwhelmingly in favor of that." Rachel responds and says, "I don't think so, to be honest. Feels wrong. I can't explain why. But I can see how it's a big fuck you to both of them. So I can see the appeal. I might do a poll and then blame it on that. I don't know. But the poll would be Beck, so I've got time to think on it. If I do charity, I can write it off on my taxes. Ha ha ha." Someone named Holy Mackerel says, "I think that's best, to be honest." Rachel says, "It feels cleaner." Julia says, "I didn't understand why people even suggested it until I reread the statement a second time. But both from an accounts and moral POV, I think a charity with a registered charity number is best." Rachel says, "I don't know why. Yeah, I was leaning this way also. But there is something satisfying and pretty good about giving it to Beck. Haha. I'll think about it." Okay, and this is where I feel like Rachel, you know, she already got really messy when she was talking about splitting the AdSense with Emily behind the scenes, but I feel like it gets even messier when she's essentially talking about donating it to Beck as almost like using Beck. She's essentially using Beck as an opportunity to make herself look good or to get back at other people. And here's the thing, this is how I feel about giving a gift or giving to charity or just giving in general. You should not be giving out of a place of gaining leverage on other people. You shouldn't be giving to hold it over people's heads. You shouldn't be giving to make yourself look better or feel better or anything like that. If you are actually passionate about the cause or the people that you are donating to, why would you say something like this? Like it like, you guys know those videos where it's like a guy with the microphone and he goes up to a person that, you know, might be homeless or struggling on the street, and they're like, "Here, do you want $100 or do you want the sandwich?" Or just something like that, right? In my opinion, true charity does not come with a camera attached to it. It doesn't come when you're trying to make yourself look better. And also just saying that you're gonna do it to have it as a slap in the face for Amberlynn and Emily, it's fucked up. Like, and that's the thing. When I first started watching her videos, I'm like, okay, you know, we have like a new reaction channel. She's seemed normal. It seemed like just like a normal channel, but behind the scenes, I think she's just mean. Like, you're just being a mean girl. And that's not to say that I don't agree with her making the decision to give the money to charity. I said that in my last video that the reason we got into this entire situation is because Rachel was talking with one of Amberlynn's exes, and it got really messy really fast. From the beginning, she should have just given it to a charity. But at the same time, I think she should have listened to her audience and just given it to Beck. If the people, okay, here's the thing. If your audience is essentially the one paying your bills, your audience is giving you this platform. Without them, there is no Rachel Reacts. Without your audience, that's why I think it's really important to listen to what they have to say and listen to their input genuinely. You have to have a genuine care for what those people have to say. But it seems like she doesn't really care. She doesn't really want them to support Beck. It seems like she wants to place, that decision into her audience's hands entirely without even considering the reasons of why her audience wants that. And, I don't want to talk too much about Beck because they have been going through some really, really hard times, but essentially Beck has talked about dealing with some health issues, and that's the reason why Rachel's audience thought it would be great for her to help out Beck instead of splitting that money with someone who has allegations of DV against them. But this was the first screenshot. That's how I feel. I think Rachel is just giving mean, smug a little bit. All right, here's the next screenshot. Rachel, I'm not suggesting you watch it as it's pointless, but Jordy has said that you offering to pay in exchange for tea is not a big deal and isn't sure what the fuss is about. So that should clear the air a bit for you. Fair play to him. Rachel says, love that from Jordy. Jawbone says, so you're not really being publicly hanged and drawn and quartered, diva. Rest easy. Rachel says, if Jordy says it's all right, then I'm off the hook. I'll wipe my tears with banknotes. Okay, and this to me sounds like wiping your tears with banknotes. You're making a joke about all of this. It seems like you don't really take what your audience has to say seriously at all. And the thing with Jordy is Jordy has his own separate community. He has his own platform. He's his own person. That does not absolve you of the issue that your audience has with you. And also, like, if Jordy wants to pay for screenshots or whatever, in my opinion, he can do that if he wants to. But the thing is, right? The thing is, Rachel did not say that she was paying for this information or that she was thinking about paying for this information. Her audience did not know. Nobody knew until she came out with that one community tab post. So that's why a lot of people feel betrayed. If Jordy is coming out and saying, hey, I would pay for this, this is what I would do, and then he actually does it, all right, that's clarity. That provides a level of understanding that this is what we expect from him as a content creator. Now, Rachel, on the other hand, I feel like people maybe saw her as a little bit more like journalistic or more of a solid narrator to the story. But once you have money tied into it behind the scenes, it can make you seem very biased in your opinions. Okay, and this is where we get into a lot of people in this space are now saying that Rachel is acting like Amberlynn now, and it's kind of embarrassing. I'm gonna try and read these screenshots out. This part is cut off a little bit, but it says something explanation on why you think it's wrong to give Beck money when they need it and have made the community and you a fortune reacting to their content. And I agree with that. If your community is saying, hey, you hurt us, you made us feel betrayed, this is how we think you could solve the problem, and behind the scenes she's like, fine, I guess I'll do it, but like I don't really actually want to do it. Like, it's just very disingenuous. Rachel says, this was before I decided to give it to Beck. Charlie Gold needs to learn to read a date. X. And she's just being really petty and really smug in this conversation. This person says, girl, that doesn't matter. Are you serious? You're an intelligent woman. Surely you can see why this is still an issue. Your attitude in these messages are disgusting. You really don't care, do you? Such a shame. Rachel says, context matters. I came to the right decision in the end. Smiley face. Ask Charlie why she isn't sharing the real interesting stuff in that Discord. Winky face. And here she goes. She's throwing Charlie Gold under the bus. Instead of taking accountability and saying, hey, I'm sorry, you know, things got really messy. I'm in over my head. I made some really poor choices and I'm going to listen to what you guys have to say. She's throwing other content creators under the bus. And this is where people say, this is like Amberlynn. She can't take accountability. She's misdirecting and she's redirecting all of the criticism to other people, to other reaction channels. This person then follows up and says, I don't think we're going to agree, which is fine. My real issue is, yes, you keep coming to the right decision in the end, but it doesn't feel like the intention was pure or right or kind. It's coming across very mean, girl, and I really never got that vibe from you, so it's just disappointing, but maybe that's me expecting too much and being parasocial. I hope you address this in your video with context if it really does change things, but it's your choice. I feel like whoever is sending these messages to Rachel, they're being pretty respectful. They're kind of just saying their feelings, how they feel about the entire situation. Rachel seems to just keep responding in this very smug, I know better than you, who cares what my audience feels, who cares if they're hurt kind of attitude, and then pointing fingers at other people. I don't know if you guys remember Young Dumb Honey Bun, but she was a reaction channel that popped up a little bit around the pandemic here or there, and she kind of blew up. She was very popular. She was a pretty girl, she was intelligent, she was well-spoken, and I enjoyed watching her content. But suddenly there was this shift. It was almost like a coin flipped or a switch flipped, and she suddenly got extremely passive-aggressive, extremely smug, very condescending, and you know, she had this little rant that everyone talks about. It's called the coconut oil rant. I'll see if I can find a clip and I'll put it in right here for you guys.
Big girl, I'm in med school. I work full time. I have a degree. I have a whole ass beautiful man by my side. I have a family that loves me. We all take care of each other. We love each other. My skin is clear. My makeup is flawless. I am living my best life. My hair is growing. I smell like coconut oil. I am living my best life. And now I will go further. I will go beyond the superficial, beyond what the eye can see. I am an educated woman. I am an educated immigrant woman who has came here with no language, who is now speaking 2 languages fluently, who has a career, who has ambitions and goals in life. Regardless of the coinage that I make on YouTube of your name, I have a successful life.
But yeah, essentially in that rant, she's just going off and like, so this, my skin smells like coconut oil, I have a man that loves me, I have a family that loves me, and it was that attitude that left a really bad taste in her audience's mouth. Like, a lot of us were just like, okay, girl, like, please, like, just be humble, calm down. I understand if you're proud of the things you've done in life or whatever, but once you start going down this rabbit hole of smugness and, dare I say, even arrogance, it really puts a bad taste in people's mouth. And then, you know, Young Dumb Honey Bun, she went down a whole different route where she was just doing some really stupid shit. Let's just leave it at that. And that's why I'm just like looking at Rachel right now. I'm like, you right now have the power to just stop. I think she needs to stop posting for a couple of weeks. Just take a couple of weeks, read through some comments, try to understand the perspective of your audience, put yourself in their shoes, because they are your boss. I you know, I'm sure she has other employment outside of YouTube potentially, you know, but as far as like making money from YouTube, these people are your boss. You need to listen to them. And when you want to drag them in DMs and drag other reaction channels and point the finger and be smug in your Discord chats, it's not a good look. It's kind of sad to see. And I'm not like super parasocial, like a huge fan, or like even subscribed to. I'm not even subscribed to her. At least I don't think I am. Maybe I am. But you know, when one of her videos would pop up, I would watch it while I'm, you know, doing stuff around the house. I'm like, oh, you know, it's just something to listen to in the background. I never really took it as like, oh my gosh, like this content creator is speaking gospel. It was just interesting to listen to. But I don't want to support a channel that's gonna treat their viewers like this. I truly don't. Here's another indication of her essentially trying to be smug and be a bit arrogant with the other reaction channels. There is another reaction channel who I also watch. Her name is Salty Crab, and she posts Amberlynn content. The thing I like about Salty Crab is that she takes a much more leaned back approach to her content. Like, it's almost like, you know, if you went out to lunch with your girl and she's just kind of talking about like, oh, and this happened. Crab definitely has a different approach to Amberlynn Reid reaction content. I do enjoy her channel. But apparently Salty Crab, this is so messy, but apparently Salty Crab was also in the Discord group, but Salty Crab distanced herself because of some of the things that she was seeing in the group. And then she, I guess, made a video response talking about why she left the group. And Rachel has this little crab and a laughing face, so she's pretty much laughing at Salty Crab. And so this is the second channel that she's come for. First she came for Charlie Gold. She was talking about Charlie Gold. Now she's talking about Salty Crab, and then she's dragging Jordy into this mess. That's why I'm just like, if you do something, you need to stand on your own and admit to what you did. You're having other reaction channels now that you're involving in this mess. Some people are calling this the downfall of Gorl world. I don't think that's ever gonna happen, at least not right now. Maybe that's a little bit dramatic. It's kind of like Dramageddon, where a bunch of content creators were getting dragged and all that type of stuff, and now all those people are still back posting and making their money and doing whatever. But yeah, it's kind of just like Rachel is turning on everybody in her circle, or trying to use them to get other people to forget about what she did. All right. Now, this screenshot in particular, and this is going to be a lot of speculation because, like I said, I haven't seen all the screenshots. I don't know what exactly was going on in that Discord group. I don't know exactly what was going on between Emily and Rachel. But Amberlynn seems to have a bit of an inkling, or at least it seems like she is alluding to there being something going on, more than what Rachel told her audience. So Amberlynn says, in a land far, far away called Gorl World, there lived a queen of the Ambabies. Away from the castle and the village where the mediocres stay, Lord Farquaad, the failed philosopher, fell in love with the queen's ex, Thomas Salamis. And then the comment underneath says, I think she means Rachel. Philosopher makes sense. So the rumor floating around now is that Rachel not only offered to give money to Emily, but she was also potentially maybe flirting with Emily behind the scenes, which, I don't know, that's kind of gross to me. Like, that seems like a huge boundary crossed if that is true. Like I said, I haven't seen any evidence of that. But yeah, it definitely seems weird that Amberlynn would just make this up out of nowhere, that, you know, she thinks that Amberlynn in a later live stream goes on to describe Rachel as Lord Farquaad. I think it might be because of her hair, which is kind of shallow, but whatever. It's just weird to me that Rachel is now this involved, and I don't know how she's going to come back from this. I don't know what her response is going to be to all this. Hopefully, like I said, she stops before she becomes the next young dumb honey bun, because it did not take long for people to get a very sour taste in their mouth. I know that I have a sour taste in my mouth. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching her channel. Like I said, the content she makes wasn't necessarily like it wasn't like bad content, but I don't like the way that she's getting involved behind the scenes. That's what's really bothering me. So yeah, those are the screenshots I was able to find. I just definitely think that Rachel needs to stop and listen to her audience. That's my biggest takeaway from this entire situation. If your audience is upset with you, it probably means that you need to stop, slow down, and reflect. Don't just make decisions based on what people are saying. Do it because it feels right, or you understand it and you've taken the time to understanding them and how they feel and why they feel that way. But that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, but I'm gonna end it right here. Take care of yourselves, stay safe out there, and as always, stay lovely.